and stuff. You don't talk to council, you don't give us, this is what you do.
Steve, please.
Yeah,
Not,
you're not-
not,
He asked me a
Mayor.
question.
not up here.
What you say is ramrodding, I say is bringing you solutions.
But we haven't had a chance to review. You have operated outside the city council many times, and you've agreed to that, and you said, sorry, I'm just trying to do my job. The hiring of Bo, yes, you did. The hiring of Bo, when you got rid of Adam, you did all these contract negotiations without coming to the council first. That is outside of our charter. So for those reasons, I'm not comfortable with this. I probably am fine with it once I have a chance to look it over and think about it, but right now I'm not. And I don't think that it's what the citizens want this council to do is to ask for a vote on something they just saw. And it's the city manager. I just don't agree with it.
This time we'll come back to order. Now open it up for a motion and or discussion.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for new city manager.
We got a motion by Mr. Walkendorf to approve the contract. Do we have a second? Second. Who's that? James Vadrine? With the motion and a second, all those in favor? All those opposed? 5-1. Item number 8, consideration and action on authorizing the city attorney to provide a report and information regarding employee complaints made against one or more city council people in 2018 on past city practices, organizational structure of the city, and its historical development. Concerns raised by information reviewed and matters relevant to any of the foregoing. Mayor, how are you?
This is simply, the citizens have asked for transparency. I believe they deserve that transparency. And I want to do a report with some of the things that I've identified and noted through this engagement.
Now open it up for discussion.
Yes, Mr. Dixon, if a motion is made, can this be made all in one motion to include 8, 9, 10, and 11 instead of a separate one on each thing? Do you have a problem with that? Or?
I don't have a problem with it, but, I'm not I would think it would be better to go ahead and do them separately, because there are parts where you're waiving a exception on an open records matter, and then the partial waiver there and a partial waiver turns line on any letters that might be used.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I have just one question on the motion that we're looking at here, the agenda. Does that include Ms. Ganaway's information?
Yeah, we'll include Ms. Gaines' information.
Right, yeah, I see it down there, but I don't know if it's part of it. Is that gonna be part of breaking the attorney-client privilege so that you can come up with this information?
Excuse me?
Where you were talking about things that were in other meetings, is that what it's referenced as? You're talking about, you're gonna refer to the Ganaway information for the investigation that she did on the situation we had in July. Will that be done on number 11?
Yes, but there's a provision authorizing the city attorney to include in the report information from interviews conducted by the Ganaway firm.
Okay, well, I'll wait for that agenda.
Huh?
I'll wait on that item.
Item number 8, I'll open it up for motion and discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve, authorizing the city attorney to provide a report and information regarding employees' complaints made against one or more city council persons in 2018 on past city practices, organizational structure of the city and its historical development, concerns raised by information reviewed, and matters relevant to any of the foregoing.
We have a motion by James Vadrine. Do we have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
And a second by Mr. Walkendorf. With a motion and a second, all those in favor? All those opposed? Passed. Item number 9, as to the employee complaints regarding city council members from May 2018 forward. Approval of the waiver of the exception provided in 552.103 of the Texas Public Information Act for the employee complaint only, and authorizing the city attorney to include those complaints in his reports.
The reason I need this is because actually, whenever, we received the initial requests for these, they were not wanted to be released, and I can understand that because there was a TWC claim. So I wrote off to the Attorney General under 552.103, and the Attorney General granted the exemption, saying, it's a discretionary exemption. You raised it, and you've shown enough that you can refuse to hand over, or to publish. What I'm asking for now is the waiver of that discretionary exemption as to those employee complaints, because it's important to understand, to have those complaints, to understand the nature of the charges.
Item number 9, I'll now open it up for discussion and or motion.
Mike, is there any negative outcome we can have out of that as a liability that you can see by having that released?
Well, my first thought is, yeah, anybody can file a lawsuit. Somebody can claim that they feel like they've been slighted or retaliated against, but the reality is, employee complaints, for the most part, despite what's written in what was determined by whoever determined it early on, are not generally confidential. And the other reality is that unless you're able to provide those, then somebody is able to create a grouping of complaints where there's never been complaints before, put out a press release about it, leave the whole entire public and the press to their imagination as to what all is going on without ever seeing the substance. They need to see the substance to understand.
Any other discussion? There's no further discussion, I'll open it up for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve number 9.
Got a motion by James Green, do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Travis Bailey. A motion and a second, all those in favor, please signify. Motion passed. Item number 10, authorizing the city attorney to include information in the report that may include correspondence between a city employee or official and the former city attorney, but only to the extent necessary to support the report.
This would be a scenario that I would try to avoid in all ways possible, but if there's a situation where the only way I can show something is by that correspondence, I would need the ability to provide that correspondence.
Is there any other discussion?
I have one question, Mike. On that particular part now, with Mr. Miles, there was a agreed separation,
Right.
right? I think we need to just let that lie. Why do we want to go back and come up with something? Because we have an agreement with the other party. I think that's not a good thing for the city.
Well, I would agree that it'd be good to let things lie if everyone would agree to that, but that's not what's happening. And secondly, regardless of what you think about these guys,
Who?
They can all
Who are you referring to?
well, I'm talking to the council in general, regardless of what anybody thinks about any one of them, or as a combination. Nobody deserves to be accused of something and not have the opportunity to clear their name. Especially something that is as heinous as harassment or a hostile work environment. And that's, you know, from my perspective, when do they get a name clearing hearing? It's just as important as leaving things alone. But I can tell you, it's not being left alone. And you're well aware of that.
No, I'd like to be well aware of that. I think what we're fixing to do is open up Pandora's box. We're gonna get a lawsuit against somebody we have an agreed separation on if we proceed with this.
You know, anybody with the filing fee to file a lawsuit, and I will be more than happy to get it dismissed.
I know, and these people have to pay for that lawsuit. Not me,
No.
not you, these folks.
Is there any other discussion?
I wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So I believe that for those reasons, that we're gonna open up a liability situation, and, Mike, our general fund can't take it. We're already you billed us $40,000 since you did it. Our max budget amount is $20,000. We're upside down. You're writing checks we can't cash. So I think you're gonna open up the deal here to where we can't afford, we're gonna have another lawsuit.
First of all, some of that was for eminent domain services.
How about I know you won't give me the information? I've asked and you haven't given it to me. You said we have to have a council approve what I'm asking for. It's the details of the billing that these people are paying, and you won't give it to me. I don't understand that.
I give you a daily run. That's
Yes.
what I did.
And at the bottom, it says total, and the last one was about $12,000. I'm asking for totals by date, which I have gotten from other attorneys over the years.
You do have totals by day.
No, I don't. No, I'm talking about itemizations by the day, individual billings for the day you're charging. I want to see what we're paying for on the detail, and you won't give it to me. You told me that Friday in an email, unless the council votes on it. We have to vote to get the billing details for the people that are paying the bills?
The billing details are in.
You haven't answered my question. Why won't you give it to us?
That's the way it's billed. It is billed, you have everything I did that day, and then a total.
No, sir, you need to look at your billings. It doesn't have a total for the day. No, sir.
Well, we're going off into an area
That's
that's
right, we're
not
in a different
agenda,
area.
but I'll be happy to.
So you don't need a council vote?
You know, I'll be happy to give you a detailed,
Thank
from
you.
now on.
No, I want to go back to the beginning, when you started billing.
Well, then.
Because your office does that.
I think Mike-
I'm not gonna continue to discuss.
Well, if you'll just
this.
please give it to us from when you started forward, we'll all be happy.
Mike, we got off topic.
Thank you.
We'll go back to number 10. Is there any other discussion? If there isn't, I'll open it up for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve number 10, authorize the city attorney to include information in the report that may include correspondence between a city employee or official and a former city attorney, but only to the extent necessary to support the report.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by James Madrina, a second by Mr. Walkendorf. All those in favor? All those opposed? 5-1. Item number 11, authorizing the city attorney to include in the report information from the interviews conducted by the Ganaway firm.
There's interviews that were conducted by the Ganaway firm. There's no summarization of them except what I've done and been able to do through my legal assistant. And, you know, so to get that information out there in a digestible form, you know, that's part of it.
I got a question. The recordings made, could they be, once we do this, could they be made public on the city website? Or no?
That, we don't need to get into that, and, I mean, it's, at some point, you become counterproductive. And overwhelming.
Any other discussion?
Yes, sir. You weren't there, your assistant wasn't there, you weren't even being, working for the city of Hewitt, yet you wanna make a report, a summary of something you had nothing to do with. I was in there, these folks were in there. I don't see how you're qualified to do a summary of something you didn't attend. I think,
I have years, I've listened to the recording.
well, we were told there wasn't a report, and it was not a transcript. So, my deal is, I think we need to get Ms. Galloway down here, or do the same thing, the same procedure that you're asking to have done, and have Charlie come in here, because he was in that. And he will give a straightforward, honest answer in summary of what was happening. I think that is the best thing for the city of Hewitt, is somebody that was in that room, that helped with the investigation. Either I'll pay for Ms. Galloway to come down, I'll pay the bill. I just want Galloway or Charlie to be that person. You're not qualified, because you weren't there. Not that you're not a quality attorney and all that. You weren't there.
I can listen to an interview and tell what the question is and what the answer is.
The interview that happened in this room during those 3 hours of the Galloway investigation and summary and her recommendation. You have that? You have that?
Are you talking about the executive session? No, I don't have that,
Okay.
because it's against the law.
I
to
know,
go
but
to
we had
executive
talked,
session.
I believe, unless I misunderstood it, you're talking about, on the client attorney, you're not wanting to avoid that. And be able to speak about that meeting back there.
That executive session, by law, is confidential, and it's not a waivable thing.
So it's confidential, but you have a recording of it?
I don't have a.
You said you
What
have a
you don't
recording.
understand, that
You're right, I don't.
there were individual recordings of people that she met with, not in a
Right,
room.
and I was one of them, yes.
Right, and it wasn't an executive session.
That, sir, did not translate 100% to this meeting. You're taking bits and pieces of information on individual interviews, and you're trying to do a summary of Galloway's investigations and findings of what happened back there. Yes, I want that. Everybody wants that. They've been asking for it since day one. That's what we need, and if you can't provide that, then the information you're trying to present is partial. So I just don't agree with it. Let's just put that, I don't agree with it. It's not complete. And you weren't a part of that investigation.
Is there any further
You're right,
discussion?
I wasn't, because there'd be a detailed report.
Right, and I wish we had it. If we can get it, that'd be great. Thank you.
Is there any discussion, other discussion? If there's no further discussion, I'll open it up for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would, make a motion authorizing the city attorney to include in the report information from interviews conducted by the Galloway firm.
I have a motion by Travis Bailey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by James Zadine. The motion and the second. All those in favor? All those opposed? 4-2, motion passed. Number 12.